Mama always said, drink your milk. And I'm here with Dr. Joan Lappy, a very prominent nurse researcher, to tell me why that glass of milk is so very, very important. Dr. Lappy, you were just recognized with an outstanding award, and it was for bringing science to life. Tell me about that title.
Well, what that title meant was that I've done some research, so I'm a scientist, and I've done some things that really have importance for people and their health. And I've had a few studies that actually found some clues on how to maintain or promote our health.
It's probably just making it not just science, it makes an impact on our life, absolutely. Before us are, it looks like you and I are about ready to have breakfast here, but tell me about the items here and why it's important that these items are in front of us.
Well, all of these items are foods that are fortified with calcium, and by the way, all of these and many, many others have been tested in our laboratories here at Creighton throughout the years. Dr. Haney's done a lot of work with calcium absorbability. So we tested these products at the request of the manufacturers to make sure that if you eat, for example, Cheerios to get calcium, are you going to be able to absorb the calcium? And as to their importance, all of these things that contain calcium are critical for bone health.
Were you finding, in fact, I'm recalling a study that I was in where calcium was added into like a soda pop, like a Mountain Dew, and this would have been, gosh, in the 90s. And at the time I thought that was very odd that calcium would be in soda pop, but I suppose whatever it's going to take to get calcium in a child or a young adult or any adult's body is important.
That's absolutely right. Another thing we were doing there is there were some scientists who felt that if you drank a lot of soda, you would excrete too much calcium out of your body, and I think we kind of put that to rest with, that was another Dr. Haney studies.
And I'm looking right here at this Wonder Bread that says it has calcium in it. I was very surprised to see that. I don't think of bread as having calcium.
Right. Well, you know, the best source of calcium is milk. From 1 8-ounce glass of milk, one would take in 300 milligrams of calcium. However, a lot of people don't like to drink milk, or there's sort of a myth out there that you might gain weight if you eat too much dairy. So in order to get enough people to get calcium, we have to put it in foods where they don't even know they're getting it. And so that's why a lot of products are now fortified with calcium.
You travel all the time talking about your research. What led you to become a nurse researcher?
Well, actually, it was sort of serendipitous. Dr. Haney needed someone to manage some of his many research projects, and this was in the 1980s. And I already had a joint appointment with between the School of Nursing and the School of Medicine at Creighton. So I started by being a project manager for one of his studies. And actually, I really wasn't very interested in osteoporosis when I first came over here, because in the 80s, nobody knew anything about it. However, I became fascinated with the work that was being done over here, and so I stayed on, and I was eventually able to conduct my own studies.
What was the first research? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I have to think back a little bit, but the first study I did here was one with children. My focus has always been on health promotion and disease prevention, and for most things you have to start when kids are little. And so I did a study just to see if we could measure bone density in children, and we studied a bunch of children in Saunders County, Nebraska.
Saunders County, why Saunders County?
Because one of my colleagues was doing a study of adults out there, older women and men, and so it was sort of natural. She was looking at the bone health of older people, and so I looked at the bone health of many of them were their grandchildren. And so it just kind of completed the picture, and it made recruitment a little easier.
What'd you find out?
Well, we found you could measure bone density in children, and a lot more work has been done since then, and actually it's becoming more commonplace for pediatricians to do that.
Now, was it out of that you did your Healthy Bones with the Girl Scouts?
Well, that followed. I did another large study, 2 studies, as a matter of fact, that were funded by the National Institutes of Health to study whether giving calcium to children if you gave it in the form of dairy foods or fortified foods, whether they would have better bone health than other children who didn't get that added calcium. And in order to recruit children to a study and to teach them more about bone health, we established a Girl Scout patch where if they learned about bone health and did some activities, they got the patch. And the local consul is still using that patch.
Wow. And I'm looking at one right here. Is this the Dairy Diaries?
Right.
Tell us a little bit about Dairy Diaries. It's very cute. It's on YouTube.
Yes, and this is the Dairy Diaries was one of my project managers, Margaret Begley, came up with that idea. She has 4 girls, so she knows how to attract young girls to studies. But from the study I did of bone health in young girls, one thing I found as sort of a secondary outcome was that the girls who ate a lot of dairy did not gain more weight than the girls who ate very little dairy. And there's a myth out there that you can't eat dairy food because you're going to get fat. And in fact, studies show that girls stop drinking milk by 8 years of age, which is when they really need to promote their bone health. So when I saw that finding that they were gaining less weight, I submitted a grant to the NIH again to see if we could do a formal study to determine if girls who eat a lot of dairy actually could gain a lot less weight than the ones who don't. And so we're in the process of doing that study now, and we've nicknamed it the Dairy Diaries.
Well, I think that's true. I think I remember as a child thinking that if I drank too much milk, it's calories I didn't need. Why is it important that young girls begin to absorb calcium or take calcium supplements?
Because most of our bone health is established by the age of 18. And once you get to the age of 18 or 19, it depends on rate of growth, there's very little you can do to strengthen your optimal bone health, and it goes downhill from there. So if you maximize your bone health during those years of growth, you have more bone in the bank, so to speak. So when you have inevitable bone loss that happens to everyone when they get older, you have more to draw from, and eventually you'll have a lower risk of breaking bones due to osteoporosis.
Tell me about the research that you're most proud of.
Well, I actually have 2. One that really did apply immediately to young women was a study we did to see if supplementing young women with vitamin D and calcium would decrease their risk of stress fractures. Now, young people don't get many broken bones unless they fall off of bikes or whatever, but stress fractures are a form of broken bone that results because of poor bone health. And so we did a study in female naval recruits at the Great Lakes Naval Station in Chicago, or outside of Chicago, and we were able to show that if young women have adequate calcium and vitamin D, they have a 20% lower risk of developing a stress fracture during basic training. Now, not everybody goes to basic training, but the reason we used that sample is we had 5,300 women on that study. When you have something that you're studying that doesn't happen very often, like fractures in 20-year-olds, you need a very large number of people to study. And that's why military recruits are a good example. They start doing a lot of physical activity and have a high risk of stress fractures. So I'm proud of that because it was a great help to the military. In fact, now both the Navy, U.S. Navy and the U.S. Army recommend that their soldiers and sailors be supplemented with calcium and vitamin D during their basic training. And this has applicability to other young people. It just shows if you're physically active, you need more calcium and vitamin D.
And I have one last question for you. You said there was a second study. Tell me about that.
Well, the other one I'm very proud of, that is, again, sort of an offshoot of a bone study. We did a large study in rural Nebraska to see if calcium and vitamin D might prevent fractures. And as a secondary outcome, I found that those who received vitamin D had a much lower risk of developing cancer. In fact, those who were on vitamin D and calcium had a 60% lower risk of developing cancer than those who were on neither calcium or vitamin D supplementation. And this is awesome. It's been received with a lot of anticipation, and we really need to do a follow-up study because it was a secondary outcome, and we're doing that study now.
We'll have to come back. Well, it appears our moms were right. Drink our milk and eat our Wonder Bread for strong bones. On behalf of all of us at Creighton, thanks for watching.